CPI came in slightly higher than expected, which is why we got the pullback. But this isn't changing anything because rate cuts are happening either way. Rate cuts are happening in a few days to a couple of weeks' time. I don't know exactly, but when that happens, one of two things is going to happen. Because usually CPI leads to pullbacks, or that's what we've seen recently. So there's going to be a couple of things which can happen. Either we tank now or after rate cuts. It didn't even really pull back currently, and it looks like Bitcoin is forming a bullish pattern, which is going to send it up to about 118k, inverse head and shoulders. The target is going to be about 120k, about here. So we know a pump is coming now. When is that pump going to happen? So we're going to get a little bit of a pullback and then we go. And then after we go, we're going to pull back due to the CPI news, the trend that tends to occur, and the rate cut has already been priced in. The only way I feel like we're going to pump on rate cuts, and I could be wrong because we could pump after rate cuts either way, is if they announce a 50 basis point rate cut. Because if that happens, it's crazy. I've added another position. Obviously, I'm long on Mikami. I'm now also long Casper, because I also saw like a mini inverse head and shoulders on the 4-hourly here as well. And I feel like it is going to follow Bitcoin. To be honest, I preemptively closed my Bitcoin trade, which I shouldn't have done. Yeah, look at inverse head and shoulders right here as well, which will pump it to about here. I just believe in this project, so you need to look at what you believe in. Like Bitcoin, I feel like all the institutional have their hands in there. That could mean it is going to pump. That does mean I kind of need to buy some Bitcoin as well. And it is probably safer. So if you buy Bitcoin with a stop loss, you're going to make money either way, bro. Because look at this inverse head and shoulders, which is playing out right now. Omikami keeps reposting. And he's saying that Omikami is going to go to 22 and 64 billion with Ryujin. Mad. You have to be delusional, man.
They called them delusional, but every major bull run started with a few crazy ones who didn't blink. In 2010, Bitcoin was a joke, $0.01 a coin. Most people laughed. Some bought pizza, a few became legends. Ethereum in 2016, too complicated, too slow, but one ETH was $2. Dogecoin, made as a meme, Shiba Inu, called vaporware. But in 2021, these delusions printed more millionaires than Fortune 500 stocks. And now, two more names get whispered in the shadows. Omikami, Ryujin. Most people won't look twice, but the delusional bulls, they're already loading up. You won't see them on Bloomberg yet. No celebrity hype, no CEX listing frenzy, just quiet development and insane potential. Every top 100 coin today was once a delusion someone refused to let go. So call them crazy. But history has a habit of rewarding the bulls, especially the delusional ones. This ain't financial advice, but don't sleep on Omikami and Ryujin.
What a banging video, bruh. That's me, bro. I'm a delusional bull. I don't even know how I am holding it right now, but that's literally me. Tech stocks are effectively the stock market. Technology stocks now reflect a record 37% of the total US stock market. That share has doubled in just 5 years. It also now exceeds the 2000 dot-com bubble peak by 4 percentage points. Meanwhile, tech stocks weight as the percentage of the total global market ex-US has reached 11%, the highest in 4 years. Tech is all that matters. AI is where the money is going. People only care about AI, and that's the world we're going to live in. And I think crypto may be the transaction and the blockchain, hopefully, for AI, maybe using Casper. Do you see what I see? USDC on Casper. Smart contracts on Casper are coming soon. Most people in the CAS community are frustrated by price action. It's understandable. We got spoiled when CAS was the #1 performing asset globally. If you zoom out, however, you see that CAS has been making higher lows since the 5-cent low in April 2025. It has also been making lower highs, creating a triangle formation, which we've noticed. This will eventually result in it breaking one way or the other. Given that this market cycle is not yet over and is approaching a phase where capital will likely rotate away from Bitcoin and Ethereum, there's good odds that this triangle formation breaks to the upside. Of course, nothing is 100% in trading, so you have to manage your risk, but no risk, no reward. The only way to benefit is to have some skin in the game in case Casper finally escapes this boring accumulation phase and goes into a bull trend once again. Imagine, bruh. Imagine the scenes if this thing explodes. People have been waiting a hell of a long time.
Welcome back to Profitoon. Today, we're diving into a topic that's essential for every crypto investor: the psychology of the market cycles. Crypto markets, like all markets, move in cycles. These cycles are driven not just by technical factors, but by human emotions: fear, greed, euphoria, and despair. Today, we'll break down each stage of the market cycle, how it relates to investor psychology, and what you can do to navigate these emotional waves. The accumulation phase. The cycle begins with accumulation. This phase usually occurs after a significant drop in prices, where the market is still licking its wounds. The media isn't talking about crypto, and most retail investors have left, convinced that the market is dead. But the smart money, experienced investors and institutions, begins quietly buying. At this stage, the mood is cautious optimism. Prices are low, but the fundamentals of promising projects are still strong. During accumulation, smart investors focus on research and fundamentals. They look for projects with solid technology, strong teams, and long-term potential. Next, we enter the uptrend, or the markup phase. As more investors recognize the potential, prices start rising. This is where the early adopters who bought in during accumulation begin to see significant returns. Media attention returns, and the general public starts taking notice. Euphoria starts to build. Investors feel invincible, convinced that the market will only go up. This is when greed takes over, and people start buying without doing proper research, often driven by fear of missing out, FOMO. Then comes the distribution phase. The market becomes increasingly volatile. Prices may hit new highs, but they struggle to maintain them. Smart money, which bought in early, begins to sell and take profits. The mood shifts from euphoria to unease. Retail investors, late to the party, continue to buy, hoping for more gains. But beneath the surface, the market is losing momentum. The signs are there: reduced volume, divergence in indicators. But many choose to ignore them. Finally, we enter the downtrend, or the markdown phase. Prices begin to drop sharply, and panic sets in. Investors start selling out of fear, often at a loss. The media shifts to doom and gloom, predicting the end of crypto. Despair dominates the market. Many who bought in during the uptrend or distribution phases sell at the bottom, convinced that the market will never recover. But this phase is crucial. It sets the stage for the next cycle. As the market bottoms out, the smart money begins accumulating again, starting the cycle anew. Thanks for tuning in to Profitoon. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the...
No way it showed on me Kami and Ryujin there, those top cryptos. I like that a lot. Where is that 70% dominance in September? Where is that 92k in September so far? It could still happen, but dominance will hopefully drop, and that is just the first target. Because everybody was saying it's going to go a lot lower, but that's why it wasn't going to happen, and I don't think it will. Hopefully we do get some pullbacks, because I do want more skin in the game, but I don't know. People think Casper's going to go lower as well, because it is forming a similar pattern to this, you know. That's why it's so vitally important that it breaks to the upside from this triangle that we're forming here. Hopefully, bruh. Cas looking like it might make a move. Come on, bruh. Make it to the upside and break out of that thing. We need to see you break out. And it has broken out currently. Massive bearish divergence in Bitcoin's monthly RSI. The biggest in the entire history. Every cycle has made new price highs, but RSI keeps printing lower highs. That kind of structural weakness usually doesn't end quietly. That's nasty. Trump tells Europe to impose 100% tariffs on China and India. These are having no effects on the market, by the way, but some people are thinking we're going to go lower. That could still happen. We're still in September. We are still in September. The largest preliminary jobs revision ever at the height of the global financial crisis. We're hitting similar numbers right now. Let that sink in. A brutal bear market is coming. But currently, it looks like Total 3 is screaming for an alt season. It is screaming it. CPI, look, this is what I was talking about, CPI. The last few times Bitcoin dumped hard. Hopefully that doesn't happen again. But I feel like we need to hit extreme fear. So this could be the reason we hit extreme fear now. It could go lower, maybe hit these levels at 100k, and then maybe after the 120k, because we have printed the inverse head and shoulders, unless that's invalidated. Sold my house to short sold. This brother's crazy. I can't. Even though I said I was gonna join him, I ain't gonna. I hope. Even this guy's saying to long sold the white whale, and he's got 100 million P&L. Never thought I would be thrilled to buy Sol above $200, but here we are. Look, a recession. This could definitely happen. Definitely. Liquidation heat maps look way emptier than usual these past few months. Oddly, open interest hasn't dropped as much as I'd expect. One thing's clear, more people are sidelined that we've seen in a while, which means a lot fewer will benefit from the move that's loading. Yeah, we're going up. I think we're going to go up. It just depends on what's going to happen after that. Wow, what a time to be alive.